Hi gang, this is SharpShot21 back. We are continuing on with the build of the Voron V0. This time I believe we're going to start with the frame. Let's take a look in the manual here and see what we got. Yep, first set is building the Z-axis. So we'll get you set up, we'll grab some of the parts, and we'll get going here. Now, I've already prepped some of these parts, so I got them from Mitsumi. So you will find on the bill of materials 3 15 by 15 by 100 rails, or extrusions. And 16 15 by 15 by 200s. If you bought the maker beams, they came pre-tapped at the end. If you bought them at Mitsumi's like I did, you have to tap the ends. Not a problem, but I did mess up a couple of the ends on these. So those are the ones we're going to use for the Z-axis. The Z-axis you'll also need two of the MGN7H linear rail and carriages. We are also going to need a bunch of the M2 nuts, a bunch of these M2 nuts, 2 of these printed strips which have some bosses to put the M2 nuts in. And these strips slide into the rail, or the extrusion, so you can mount the rails to it. We also need a screwdriver. Let me see if I can find my screwdriver set. Okay, so I couldn't find my screwdrivers, but found a set of hex keys. So now, for this, we will need two of the 200 mil pieces with no holes drilled, cross drilled to them. And since I oopsied on 2 of mine, I'm going to use these big M3 screws to check and see which ones it was. Now these M2s M2s snap into the channel here. I hope you can see it. See, one snaps in there, and then you just keep going. Now, you take these, and as a cross extrusion, you slot them in. I'll repeat that on the other one. Oops, doing this backwards. Nuts are up, nuts need to be down. We've got the carriages lubed in rails. And we need the M2 by 6 button heads. Now, your rails may come with these little bumpers on them. I'm going to leave the bumpers in. That way, the carriages don't escape. I'm putting one screw in every one. You don't have to, but I like how it looks. There are these, which you can use to center the rail up. So you clip them over the rail. And they are used to center the rail on the extrusion. Okay, those are done now. Now, for the bed assembly part of the Z-axis, we're going to need a few more parts. This part will show up in the manual as such. Here's the top view. Its mirror. There is a printed support right here, which we need to trim. This channel that we're clearing out is used for running the bed wires. We also will need this cable chain. You'll need to flip one end. That way, when we mount it, it can come up over the top. See, when it mounts, it needs to come up over the top. Now, to mount it, we will need some M8x3s. And the associated nuts. Alright, so two M8s. We take these and we mount them on here. And to do that, we need M2x8s. Now, the thing with these, getting them on the carriage, you want to start the screws, but you don't want to finish tightening them all until you've got all 4 started. Now, there is an access hole for the 4th one right there. Alright. Now, this is the front piece for the bed. You need 2 of these without the hole in them. One with the 2 holes. It's for the back. Now, these are held in by the M3x8s. A couple of M3 nuts. And a couple M3x12s. The M3x12s go in the front. And you take couple M8 screws, or M3x8s, and you just plunk them in there. What it doesn't tell you is you need to take an M3 nut and drop it in that hole. Okay. It does call out the one nut that, if you're looking at it, needs to get slid in there. And the nut that gets slid on the opposite side. Now we get 2 of the M3x10s. Now go on the end here. And then this piece slots across and through the 2 holes drilled in it. Snug the screws up. It does call out the several screws, including the 2 that go on the top here. and the 6 that run on the back channel. Two nuts are required, one in here and one in here. Now, I'm going to take this assembly, make sure the screw is at the bottom. And they slide into the recesses there. And I screwed down by M3 by 8s. Here, here, there, there. Here, and here, which is different from here. Alright, so, took a little while, but I did finish this up. You have 2 M3 by 12 screws there and here. You've got 2 nuts that stay loose in there because you use them to hold the Z nut on. Now, you've got, if it'll focus, you've got 2 M8 or M3 by 8s in there. The one in this hole goes in first, then that one goes in second. You also have 2 M3 by 8s down at the bottom. Now, the way I would recommend doing this, put one side on first. Put one side on first. You do this screw. Then you do this screw. Do that screw. You can then do the bottom screw. Drop the remaining nuts in. Then instead of doing those ones first, you do the M12 or the M3 by 12 hidden behind the cable chain first. That will trap the nuts back here so they don't fall out. The nuts in the back can fall out into those little pockets where the springs go. After that's done, it's fairly easy to finish off the rest of them. Alright, and this is Sharpshot 21. We're finishing up the Z-axis rail and bed carriage assembly. And in the next video, we'll be starting on the Z-axis motion assembly. So tune in for that. I hope you guys found this interesting, and I hope to see you next time. Sharps out.
Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. It really helps me out, and it lets you know when I put something new up. New videos will be going up on Tuesdays or Thursdays at 8 a.m. Eastern. And if I do decide to do live streams, I will try to give 24 hours notice. So hit the subscribe button on the channel, and you'll be notified when I post that stuff too. Hope to see you next time. Sharps out.